Hey, what's up? Due to popular demand, requests from my readers, this is my first novel of my fantasy series, The Beginning of the End. I'm going to start reading and putting out videos of me reading my novels. So I'll go for the prologue first. Prologue. The air was forced from Romulus's body as he hit the ground. He frantically picked himself up and dusted the dirt from his clothes. The light from the moon allowed him to see his house across the field of growing wheat. He worried about Oriel. Did she escape from the warlords, or had they captured her? The sound of footsteps caused Romulus to turn, and what he saw shocked him to the core. 2 Legion soldiers stood near a grove of trees, 100 yards away in his field. "By the gods," he whispered. What were they doing here? This can't be real, he thought to himself. The soldiers unsheathed their swords and ran towards Romulus. A burst of cold rushed through him as his mouth dried. They were coming quickly, and he did not know what to do. Then he turned and ran for his house as fast as he could. Romulus wanted to call for help, but he knew there would be none. The only people nearby were his wife and daughters. The thought of his family caused him to change direction towards the barn. At least there he would find something to fight them with. Then Romulus knew he would not be able to reach it in time. He heard them coming closer. He dare not look back. Before he knew what had happened, something hit him from behind, and Romulus was sent sprawling to the ground. Shock flooded through Romulus as he realised one of the Legion soldiers was on top of him. With a burst of energy, he twisted and kicked the soldier from him before scuttling away. As he saw the knife embedded in the back of the Legionnaire, he couldn't understand how it got there. It took a moment to comprehend that the lifeless body would no longer be a threat. Noise from across the field caused Romulus to turn and see a person dressed in a cloak fighting the remaining soldier. Feelings of uncertainty and fear overwhelmed him. Who would win this fight, and what would they do to his family? He knew with all certainty that he would be the only one that could help his family. All his negative emotions were washed away in a sea of rage. He ran to a nearby wagon, picked up a hoe, and ran to the fight. "What are you doing on my farm?" he shouted, swinging the weapon over his head. Romulus gasped in shock as both fighters faced him. The person in the cloak was a young woman. She stabbed the soldier in the throat before jumping away as he fell to his knees, holding his wound. When he fell face first to the ground, she casually walked over to retrieve her knife. "What are you doing here?" Romulus asked her in disbelief. "You are welcome." "What?" "I said you are welcome," she replied, wiping the knife on the soldier's uniform. "I saved the lives of you and your family. You should say thank you." Romulus turned away from her in disbelief. Romulus walked into his house shaking his head. The nightmares were getting worse. He knew that he needed to fix his troubles, but how? As soon as Romulus lay in bed, the dreams of the fog came again. When the whiteness dissipated, Romulus was in Oriel's cavern, and she greeted him with a worried expression. "What did you do?" she asked. "The warlords knew where we were when you screamed. Then they came to attack us. I felt their magic follow you. Tell me what happened." Romulus shook his head. "None of this is real. I want you to leave me alone." "Romulus, this is real, and if you don't accept it, everyone in your world will die." This statement shocked him, and Romulus looked at Oriel. 2 Legion soldiers came to my house and attempted to kill me." "Then how did you survive? Soldiers from the Legion are ruthless killers. Did you use your magic?" "No, someone helped me." "Who?" "I do not know. She left after killing them." Oriel waved her hands in front of Romulus and murmured for a second. Then her eyes widened. The warlords were able to send the crystal through. Once it anchors, the crystal will form an exit doorway into your world. You must find it and take it far from your home. Romulus shook his head, not understanding what was happening. His heart beat inside his chest like a drum. If the crystal is not moved, then more soldiers will come through, and they will keep coming until they kill you and your family. Frustration built up in Romulus. What do you expect me to do? I am a farmer and nothing more. Now leave me alone. Oriel smiled sadly. That is where you are wrong. I can feel that your daughters have inherited some of your magic. What magic? Oriel waved her hands, and a battle axe and warhammer, both wooden, appeared before him. In your old life, you were a battle mage. These weapons were made by you, but they are made from wood. Hold them and you will know the truth. You must find the crystal and take it to the Simiak Mountains. I can't go to the Simiak Mountains. What about my family? He asked. Your journey may be dangerous. You must leave them behind. Romulus tentatively reached for the weapons in a way that someone would reach for a poisonous spider. He gasped in shock as he touched the weapons, and they transformed into silver. A kaleidoscope of images rushed through Romulus's mind, fragmented visions of him using the weapons proficiently, as well as practicing magic. It all became too much, and he dropped the weapons at his feet. I don't want any of this. I want you out of my dreams. Oriel smiled sadly, knowing that Romulus was the only one with the power to save her. He needed just to believe in himself. She thought back to the day that she escaped. Thank you. I'll read a chapter every few days. See ya.